What if I told you you didn't fall in love, you just found a familiar wound? There's a difference between love and attachment. And a lot of times people conflate the two because of the intensity. I've had so many conversations around this concept of love, and I think it's such a cool conversation when you can sit and talk with a person about what it is and what it actually means and what it genuinely looks like. And I'll just speak from my perspective, right? I think as humans, we have definitely downplayed genuine love. We've romanticized it in such a way that it's only applicable to romantic partnership or family or a child. Okay? We have weaponized it when we say, well, if you really love somebody, you'll stay present through their hard times. Not realizing that if a person loves you, they won't continue to subject you to things you have to continue to heal from. Right? Love is present. Love does not hurt. A lot of times we like to blame love for the disappointments that we have in life. But in reality, if we kept love separate and we respected it for what it is, then we'd understand a lot of times it's our egos that are disappointing us. It's our attachment to validation that's disappointing us. It's a wound that we are trying to fill that's disappointing us. The way I think about love is like this. It's like when we genuinely love a person, first of all, it's an action. It's a verb. How am I willing to show up for this person? Not just in the ways that I want to, but in the ways that's necessary for them to grow. There have been friends in my lifetime I've said, hey, look, I care about you so much that even if we're not in each other's lives, I still want the best for you. And I genuinely mean that. If me not being in your life is what's required for you to improve, or even for me to improve, I'm willing to take that, right? Because that is what's necessary for you. That's when you genuinely love a person. See, love in itself is not control. And unconditional love is not unconditional tolerance. Even when we love people, we don't have to be tethered to them. See, and that's where people get it messed up. Well, I just love this person so much, so I'm willing to look past how I'm being treated. Really? If you continue to exist in a space where there is a lack of active love present and care, right, where it's clear that this is love versus something that I have to configure and makeshift, you will step into every other relationship with that same energy. You will not be able to love other people properly because this space takes up most of your energy, takes up most of your bandwidth, and it's also confusing you about what love looks like. So you may step into other spaces treating people the exact same way. Well, this is what I learned that love is. So you should be okay with that. Of course, I love you. This is how I show it. Okay. There's this quote that says, I can't tell people how to love. I get to see how they love and choose if I want to participate or not. Okay. Love is action. Love says, hey, I want to understand what is required to make sure that you are okay. I want to understand for myself what is required to make sure that I am okay. When we genuinely love ourselves, we are not subjecting ourselves to spaces where we are confused about what it looks and feels like. That's love. When we genuinely love another person, it means that we are understanding them for who they are versus demanding them be something different or demanding that they accept what we give them. Demand that they accept what we give them. That's love. Love is the ability to move about freely. Love is the ability to also discern. Love says, hey, I care about you and I want the best for you, but I realize you've been a little bit careless with me, so this relationship can't exist. And sometimes the deepest form of love is no relationship. And you may say, how is that possible, right? If you love a person, you're going to stick it out. No, not quite. Because if you love a person, you want to make sure that you are doing what's necessary for them. And sometimes we fail to realize a person's growth is contingent on our vacancy, okay? If you continue to show up in this person's life in the name of love of any kind, and they continue to disappoint you and disregard you, they hurt you. Well, what's happening in your body? You're becoming very angry. You're becoming very disoriented. You're becoming very bitter. You're becoming very resentful, okay? And you're also starting to question your own value. Now, how does that take care of that other person? Especially if you're starting to resent them, and now that is the wall that's in the way of the relationship. It's not love. Sometimes love looks like, hey, I know you don't have the skills to show up for me. So before this gets worse, and before I start to feel worse, okay, I'm going to take a step away. I'll communicate. But if I recognize that nothing is changing, I have to evacuate. And that's what true love is. A lot of times people think that unconditional love is the ability and willingness to disregard ourselves and how we're being treated. No, absolutely not. Unconditional love says, hey, yeah, I care about you. I also care about myself. So I'm not necessarily going to do anything to maliciously harm you, but I am going to remove myself from harmful spaces. And if you are that for me, hey, I love you, but I realize we can't be in a relationship because your needs may be met on the surface, but mine are not. And when it comes to attachment, sometimes we are so immersed in this idea of having a relationship, especially romantic, where we think that we love the person, but it could just be an intensity or an attachment to a wound. This idea that I need to have them in my life, right? Once it feels like control, and if this person is no longer in your life, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to function. That might not be love. That might be infatuation. Okay? Love is ease, but it is effort. Love is participation, but it is being purposeful. Okay? Love requires us to be responsible and also examine how we are showing up. And people talk about love languages all the time. Well, yeah, your love language may be one thing, and that may be how you show love, but you got to understand when I care about a person, it's more of give me what I asked for, not what you want me to have. Because sometimes you think that, oh, I'm doing this for you because I love you. And some people have used that phrasing to abuse others, right? I'm doing this because I love you. And now you're confused about what love actually means. But when we love people, we are giving them what is necessary for them, not what we want them to have or think that they should have. Because in turn, we start to feel unloved if they're not receptive to what we offer. So take a look at your relationships once again and ask yourself, is it a wound or is this genuine love? Because love feels peaceful, okay? It's less problematic. You understand what it is, even in your friendships. It's like, hey, I love this person. And that's just what it is. All right? So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.